What's up, guys? Nate Robenheimer from Protoculture, and welcome back. Another tech tip. Today I'm looking at making a sort of Talkbox effect, Talkbox style lead or bass synth sound. Kind of like a layer that I was using on my track Pegasus. I'm going to do it from scratch, and also I'm using a plugin that I don't often see a lot of people using, just because of the name entails it's supposed to be used on guitars, but it's totally not the case. If you've got Native Instruments guitar rig, you should definitely get into this. You can do some amazing stuff with some really detailed layered effects, a lot of modulation options and so on. So it's great for making sort of like complex animated effects on for leads and synths. We'll do this from scratch. So when you open it up, the one thing you need to check out is it'll usually be set to just left. So you don't want it to mono, you want it to be left and right. I've also turned the gate off because it's unnecessary if you're not running a guitar signal through it. What I've done is in Cubase you can just right click, save, or actually over here, save default preset. There we go, default preset. And that'll just, it'll open up in stereo every time from there onwards. So I've got just a few channels up here in the background. Let's just check out what we're working with. We're going to be building it on this sound. That's just the melody line from Pegasus. I've already opened up a guitar rig on that. So first things first, let's head into the components and head over to filters. There's this little tool over here. A couple of great other filters in here, but today we are working with the Talkbox because we're trying to get that Talkbox effect. Foreman filter does a good job of it as well, but we'll just use this one today. So. Great. It's a bit static if it's not moving by itself. So there's two options. You can just go and we'll add this anyway. So let's just enable host automation. It seems to be already on ID2. You could just hit learn and have a MIDI controller. If you have a MIDI channel app, a MIDI controller that would assign itself to that once the learn is enabled. Otherwise, you can also just over here, down in our arrange page, you can go into the inserts from here, guitar rig, and do the Talkbox mouth. So you could just automate it like that, but we're going to do a couple of LFOs to kind of give it a little bit more movement. If you head down to the modifiers section here, you can just drag in a few LFOs. I'm going to use two because there's a specific effect that I want to kind of get. Just basically click and drag onto that there, and you'll see it will start modulating. If you expand this slightly, you can just change the amount of modulation which is going to that. Now what I like to do is I like to take a second oscillator and assign a second LFO and assign that one to the rate of the first one. So what that's going to do now is as this one ramps up, it's going to speed up that one and then slow it down again. So it just kind of gives you slightly more, let's just expand this again, turn that down. Gives you a slightly more random movement to everything. So we can listen to it now. Just slightly more erratic. I mean, you don't always have to do that, but I find sometimes it does work kind of cool. You can actually play around with these waveforms as well. If you actually pick a random waveform from here, it'll just randomly set the speed. It's actually kind of cool, the random one. Let's just move on with this. If you go down to tools, it'll give you a bunch of these cool little things down here that you can take out a splitter, which is very useful. Also the split MS, which is, we're not going to use this one today, but this allows you to split into mono and stereo signals. This one will just be left and right. Whack that in. Let's move our Talkbox into split A. Now we want to brighten this up a little bit because the Talkbox does tend to dull things down slightly. So just head over to distortion. We'll grab a digital lo-fi, but I don't want to overdo it. So we could just use the dry wet on this, but I want to put it in the splitter so I can dial it in here, and then we can do some other stuff with this, with the panning. Let's whack the sample rate down. So it's giving it just a nice kind of sheen on top. It's a trick I use quite often to stick a digital lo-fi or a Brit crusher onto something just to kind of bring it out in the mix slightly, make it sparkle a little bit. I mean, you can carry on just kind of rooting things around you just to like make things a little bit more interesting. Just to kind of add a bit of panning effect to that, and I reckon we'll finish it off. Let's just grab an EQ. We'll just do the EQ shelving, just to push the highs up a little bit further. And let's grab some dynamics. We'll go with the solid dynamics. They're pretty cool compressors. And there we go. The original track was kind of layered like this, so you can hear the effect of the whole thing. And then you have some creative effects that you can do in Guitar Rig. I seriously suggest checking that out because you can do some pretty rad stuff. Go and experiment and have fun. Cool. Cheers.